where I am.
Okay,
in
sure.
So
No one shows up the way I do. No one shows up the way you do. And once you realize that, you fall into your power. You don't have to even step into it. You can fall into it. It's always been there. It doesn't take an active step. It just takes surrendering and falling backwards into who you are and who you've always been. But maybe you've been made to be ashamed for these things. No. Because the real beauty is in knowing who you are and being that. Not performing, not suppressing, being. And I'm proud of myself for knowing who I am and being that. And I'm excited to be saying that, actually. It's a huge deal for me to be saying that. Any of my friends who watch this know how big of a deal that is, but I say it so genuinely that I am here and I am living to find the joy and love in every moment and not squandering it with the obsession of what is or committing to an outcome that may be or may not be. We won't know. So let's just enjoy the ride and see where we end up.
hello, everybody. We're back again. We made a new friend, and we're going to show you another beautiful soul. So without further ado, let's get right into the interview. What is your name?
My name is Elle. It's nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you. I'd like everybody to know that Elle, she's a thoughtful person, and I can't wait to really give her the platform to share what's on her mind. So let's get right into it.
Sure.
We're going to start with energy. What was your energy like today?
Today was an amazing day. I really felt like I was in the mood for spontaneity. So something told me to get in my car, drive over to this area, and just walk aimlessly. I call it Lindy walking, and it's basically walking without a purpose. And so it led me here. I was sitting on this ledge, just jamming out to a Tiny Desk concert with Usher. And then you came along. So I guess I was looking for spontaneity, and I found it today.
Awesome. Let's keep making it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Do you remember what your energy was like when you woke up?
Yes, I do. Because I've been making it a goal to be really aware and intentional about my morning routines. And so right when I wake up, I sit in silence for about 15 minutes and I journal. So whatever comes to mind, a lot of it's centered on gratitude. I do 3 things that I'm grateful for, and I keep track of that every single day. And most of the days, it's the same things, and I love that consistency that I found in my own life. So journaling gratitude has made me even more grateful.
That's fabulous. I've learned myself a journaling practice can be super powerful. I love that. Starting right when you wake up. It's key. It's
right
key.
when I wake up, yes.
Yes, yeah.
And I look forward to it. So my energy is always excited because I know what I'm about to do, and I always have such a good time. Maybe not when I start, but by the time I end, I'm in such a good mood, and it sets me off on like the perfect note to start the day.
I love that for you.
Yeah,
I love that. Heck yeah. What do you like doing with your life, with your time?
Oh, what a good question. So I very much see my life's purpose as expanding emotional awareness and identification in others. And so what that looks like for me is understanding where I am at every moment, being able to check in with myself and understand the nuances in emotion. Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling anguish? Am I feeling grief? So that I can identify that within me and help others identify that within themselves. I see that as my life's purpose. I work in tech, and so I'm now working on bridging those 2 worlds, emotional awareness, identification, and tech. And that's what I do with my life every day and what I want to continue to do with my life. So it gives me tremendous fulfillment and purpose.
I want to follow along this process.
Yeah.
And support you and clap and give you your roses.
Thank you.
Let's see what happens. I'm really excited for you.
Me too.
Yeah. Wow. What are simple things that bring you joy?
Simple things that bring me joy. Belly laughing with good friends. When the group chat roasts me within an inch of my life, because I deserve it. Thinking about childhood memories that I haven't thought about in a while, like seeing in Jurassic World in theaters and being brought back to the time where I went to Jurassic Park with my dad. Not the actual one, but the Disney park. I didn't go to the actual Jurassic Park. But really, like, where my joy these days lies is intentionally in the present, but when I do dip into the past or the future, I try not to have depression or anxiety follow me. I try to find the joy and gratitude in every stage of life that I've been and every stage of life that I will be.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm starting to think that you have a very connected and coherent kind of view, just in general. Let's keep finding out more about that.
Sure.
Done
a lot of work on it.
Yes, you have. What makes you feel peaceful?
Being completely myself in every moment and not putting on a show, but showing up as I am.
That's like a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
We can all breathe easier.
That's what I was actually doing on the bridge, maybe before you saw me, before I was jamming out to the concert. I like to stand on this bridge and listen to healing frequencies with the wind rushing towards me with my eyes closed. And I do that every time I come on this bridge. And it's a ritual that really brings me joy. And I think what I've been really in pursuit of lately are moments of clarity and moments of connectedness with whatever is around me and whoever is around me. And so that's something that helps me get there. And it brought me to you, so it must be working.
I saw it in you. And I'm going to do an exposure check, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay.
What's happening here? Going to overexpose us because soon we'll be underexposed.
No worries.
Single camera interviewer operating scheme here.
You're doing great.
Doing my best. And let's. I think we need to be right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Were we out of frame?
No, we were in frame. Yeah.
Just want to be sure.
Ooh, I love this one. What's your happy place? Where? What?
My happy place. You know, I have two friends who live about a mile this way, named Brian and Annie. And we've spent so much time together that we can just be and not have to say anything. We can be sitting in a room, silent for minutes on end. And I just feel this sense of like relief and joy and surrender. And like, I am myself, they are themselves, and we are that way together. And those are my best friends. I love them dearly. And they are my happy place right now. Love you guys.
Aw. Y'all are going to see this. If you could do anything right now, it doesn't have to be realistic, what would it be?
If I could do anything?
Or make anything happen, or
Oh
wish, or something.
Oh my gosh. If I could do anything. If I could do anything, okay. So I believe at the base human currency is emotion, but it's the one thing that we don't have a curriculum on. And so what I would do is create a global curriculum for emotions, a global emotional vocabulary, so that every single person would be on the same page with what their emotions are and how to react to others who are in certain emotional states. And I think if I were to do that, almost all the problems interpersonally among people would be solved. So that's what I would do, create a global emotional vocabulary.
Let's go. Let's go. And you know what? I don't want to bias. I don't want to predispose you to any questions. So just in terms of this interview, I feel like staying out of your way because you're just doing such a good job of painting this picture. So normally I could take liberties and say, oh, this is what I think.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it to you. I really like you having this space right now. We're going to go with this energy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. How does love impact your life?
It's funny you say that because I look for love every day in how I love myself and how people love each other. I just came from dinner and I was sitting next to this couple that was so happy. They had amazing intellectual chemistry. They had lively conversation. And I was sitting there just eating by myself, feeling so freaking happy for them. Like, I wanted to jump across the table and be like, can I third wheel you guys? Like, I love you guys. And I was rooting for them, wanted them to work. You know, like, I want them to have a long, happy life together because I could see and feel that happiness and love amongst the two of them. And so finding love in others helps me appreciate it within myself.
Thank you. Do you have a word for that? When you notice love or happiness in someone else?
Ooh. Recognition.
Good.
Moments of recognition.
Yeah, I have a word for that. It comes from like Buddhist tradition.
What is it?
Joy in others' joy.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking joy in joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
a perfect way to put it.
yeah, it's a good reminder for me.
Love it.
On to the next question. Do you experience as much love as you hope for?
Yes. Yes. Because I think I approach every person with unconditional love, regardless of how they approach me. And so you can't control other people. You can control how you react to them. And so if you approach every single person with unconditional love, then love is always in your life. And over the last year, that's been my mission, is to find love in every moment and every person that I meet, even if I'm not returned with that same love. And it's what I can control. And so that's what I do. And I find it because I'm looking for it.
We thank you. Oh, we are grateful. And what is the status of you being connected in this world? Are you connected where you need to be? Are you connected as you need to be?
Connected to what?
However you define.
I think it's funny you're asking me this now because I think, honestly, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. I have deep, meaningful, fulfilling relationships. I have the most authentic, honest, loving friendships I've ever had. I've always had a great relationship with my family, but even more so now, I think I'm surrounded by people who push me and allow me to be radically honest with myself and them. And it's that energy existing in my life that makes me feel as connected as I ever have been to the people around me and to the world around me. Like going on walks and not listening to music and just feeling your feet hit the ground. I'm doing these things now. I feel like I'm so immersed in the moment, in the present. And that wasn't just waking up one day and finding that. That was really hard, arduous work of discovering myself, being accepting of myself, and then one day waking up and arriving there. And so, I feel very connected. I feel more connected to the world than I ever have been.
How does it make you feel talking about this stuff with me?
I love it. Like I told you earlier, I love self-examination. I'm somebody who processes through talking. And so some lessons that I'm communicating to you right now, I've been thinking about and I've been noticing within myself, but I've never articulated. And so it brings me a lot of joy to talk to you about this.
I'm glad I could be here for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of what you're saying, it sounds like there's a lot of Buddha energy in you.
Yes. And I was raised Roman Catholic, actually, from preschool to 12th grade. And I didn't really have a spiritual identity until last year. And woke up one day and realized that I needed to find something beyond myself to believe in, to put my trust in, to put my faith in.
Yeah.
And it was when I took that leap, which is away from everything that I had ever been taught in Roman Catholicism and being growing up in that, losing that religious identity, but then gaining a spiritual identity has been the most fulfilling journey that I've ever been on. And I've only been on it for a year. But I feel like who you are talking to here today is a collection and manifestation of all of the lessons I've learned throughout my preschool journey up until where I am today. And the spiritual leg of that journey has been most exciting to me.
So when you feel your feet hitting the ground,
Yeah.
that's walking meditation.
Absolutely.
Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, it's very intentional. Yes. And I really try to be intentional about creating moments of boredom, because I think in today's society, we don't have boredom. We don't have moments where we're alone with our thoughts, or that we don't have constant stimuli. Or sometimes I'll find myself on my laptop with the other laptop open, with an iPod playing, with the TV on the background, with a song playing. Yeah. We can have 6 streams of activity at once that are splitting our brain in all these different directions. Yeah. And in that noise, you cannot find signal. The only way that you find signal is in silence.
You're in tech.
Yeah.
Signal and noise.
Yeah, you got it. And I find signal in silence. And I didn't realize that fully until I started doing those meditation practices. Mindful walking, walking without headphones, walking without music. A lot of it is walking. I walk like 4 miles a day on this route. But I found so much fulfillment in it that's why I continue to do it every day. Because it's a moment with myself that makes me feel more connected to my environment and the people around me than anything has.
I love that for you. I have nothing to add because it's beautiful on its own. We're going to do another focus check. I'm going to ask you to stay right there.
I will stay right here.
And how's my exposure? Okay, getting a little underexposed.
Okay.
So now we're going to...
It's changed a lot since you've been out here.
Yeah, open the camera up all the way.
It's beautiful. Do you see that cloud? Wow.
I do!
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I haven't seen a cloud like that in a while. It's a lucky day. The sky's showing off for us, I think.
And look at the water. So if you stay right there, I'm going to put it in manual focus from now on. Okay. Because basically the face focusing isn't going to work once it's dark.
Okay, got it.
So now we're in focus.
Yeah, perfect.
And we keep going. This is such a vibe.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Very topical.
Yes.
What role does nature play in your life?
A huge role. And it's not always been the case, actually. But since I moved to this city and since I've gone on my spiritual journey and wanting to feel like connected to my environment, I'm in nature every day, very intentionally. And in the days that I'm not in nature, which being in nature doesn't have to mean, thank you. Wow, that was nice. Being in nature doesn't mean going out on the lake or swimming or having to do something with a lot of fanfare. It could mean taking yourself and walking for 10 minutes and brightening your entire day because you looked at turtles on a log. I have a group of turtles on this trail over here that I call my emotional support turtles, and that they all have names. My favorite one is named Chonk, and they bring me so much joy. Like, everybody who knows me knows these turtles, and when I haven't posted about the turtles in a while, people ask me the status on the turtles. So that's just to give you a sense of how often I'm out here. Nature plays a huge role in my life to the point where I've adopted turtles in the wild.
I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you. We're going to pivot a little bit. Yeah. Pivot the energy.
Yeah.
What are your goals?
In what?
You can define it if you want. Where do you want to take that? What means the most to you? How about that?
What means the most to me is living a life of fulfillment in every area that I can. So I would love to feel fulfillment in my career, doing work that really matters to me and makes a tangible difference in the world. I would love to find fulfillment in my romantic life, being with a partner who knows me, accepts me, loves me for who I am, gives me lots of cuddles, and we support each other in this beautiful, unconditional way. I'd love to find fulfillment in beyond my work, my life mission. I really, really feel strongly about the work that I'm going to do on emotional awareness and identification. And I've been laying the groundwork for that work over the last year. And I can't wait to get started. I think about it every day. I've been planning for it every day. But I know that I'm dedicating my entire life to it, so there's no rush. It just, when you know that you're born to do something, there's no like hurry up, you're losing time. You just know you'll fall into it exactly when you need to, and from that point forward, it's a rocket ship. And I feel so strongly that will happen on my life mission work. And so I'm taking this time right now to enjoy, to relax, to fall into myself, to breathe into myself, and prepare for that next stage that I think once it starts, it will not stop. And my life's mission work will begin.
It's calling for you.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And you're calling for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm patient.
Yes.
Allowing it to take shape when it's ready and when I feel ready for it.
For sure. So, I mean, I have two other questions here that are like, what do you hope for and what matters most to you? But I think you've already been showing us that.
Yeah. Sorry if my answers have been long.
No. So we're just going to acknowledge she's already been showing us this because she's already connected. She knows where we're going here.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to go in the next direction.
Okay.
Kind of talked about the passion, the love, the excitement, the faith. What are some of the things that worry you or make you afraid or that you are a little bit scared of?
I've done a lot of work to rid myself of limiting beliefs. I think I used to live in the future a lot. I used to worry about, like, if I almost saw things as if I could intellectualize my feelings, if I could solve my feelings, if I could solve the feelings of other people, then I will never be caught off guard, I will never be blindsided, and I will never be hurt. And so I was living out of that frame of reference for many years. And it wasn't until recently when I realized the power of surrendering to what is and not holding on to what you wish would be. And that's what I used to be really, really, really afraid of, is being so committed to a certain outcome that you stop appreciating the steps you're taking along the way. And even if you get it, it doesn't even feel impactful. It doesn't even feel like I've achieved this thing I wanted to achieve, because it might not look exactly like you wanted it to look. So I used to be really afraid of that, of not having things materialize in the exact way that I saw them materializing. But I don't have that anymore. I'm not afraid of that anymore. And I'm excited to be saying that, actually. It's a huge deal for me to be saying that. Any of my friends who watch this know how big of a deal that is, but I say it so genuinely, that I am here and I am living to find the joy and love in every moment and not squandering it with the obsession of what is, or committing to an outcome that may be or may not be. We won't know. So let's just enjoy the ride and see where we end up.
Amen. Let's enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And maybe help others along the way.
Yes.
We will. You will.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes, I think, vulnerability begets vulnerability. And if you show up authentically yourself and radically honest, you inspire that in others. And so, yeah, if you enjoy the ride, you inspire people around you to enjoy the ride alongside you.
I agree with you. I'm really looking forward to this question.
Yeah.
This question is all about you. This question is about elevating you into your most beloved self.
Okay.
What's something about yourself that, without rationalizing, without qualifying, you're just proud of?
My intensity and my presence. I am extremely in the moment. And I think I've always been like that, but now I'm truly there. I am right here with you. There is nothing else on my mind except for this interaction right here. And there's beauty in that focus, in that presence, in that intensity. And I think it's not for everybody, and intensity sometimes scares people because somebody who's self-examined inspires self-examination in you. And if you're not ready for that, then you might turn away from it or push it away. But I'm not going to change myself and how I show up because of the discomfort that others may feel. And I know myself very well now. I know these characteristics that I have that are unique to me, that make me special, and I'm proud of them. I love them because no one shows up the way I do. No one shows up the way you do. And once you realize that, you fall into your power. You don't have to even step into it. You can fall into it. It's always been there. It doesn't take an active step. It just takes surrendering and falling backwards into who you are and who you've always been. But maybe you've been made to be ashamed for these things. No. Because the real beauty is in knowing who you are and being that. Not performing, not suppressing, being. And I'm proud of myself for knowing who I am and being that.
Thank you for being that way. I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
And I think it goes without saying that something I ask people is, do you feel worthy of love and great things in life? And I think it goes without saying.
Absolutely. I absolutely am deserving of love and good things in life because that's what I give. What you give, you get. And you don't give to get, but you give knowing that it'll come back. You give unconditionally. And I know how I show up, and I know how much I love and how intensely I care.
Yeah.
And I know what I deserve, and I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I deserve that same love, intensity, care to be returned to me.
Yeah.
That's what I give every day. No matter how I'm received, that's what I give every day, and I deserve that back. I know that with every fiber of my being.
I know it too.
Thank you.
Let's turn our attention to the camera and imagine that we're looking directly at our audience, directly in their eyes, at their soul, with all the compassion and all of the acceptance within ourselves. And let me ask you, if you're talking to them, what would you have to say? What would you tell everybody who's watching?
Know who you are and be that. If it feels right to you, do it without regard of what anyone might think, what anyone might say. That thing that you've been waiting to do because you're afraid of how other people will react or receive you, do it. This is your sign. Me saying this right now is your sign to do it because it's a part of you, it's a reflection of you, and if it's meant to be, it will be, and it will be great. So that's what I would say. Know who you are, be that, and nothing will go wrong.
You heard it here first. I want to add to that. Don't be afraid. I mean, you're going to be afraid, but hear everything that's calling you into the light and understand that there's always more of that than fear. And just know that you're loved. You're loved way more than you know, way more than you give yourself credit for. And it will find its way to you.
Yes.
Yeah. We're moving into the closing. You already mentioned that you wished that we actually did education of the soul, education of the emotions,
Yes.
how to respond, how to react, how to take care of things. So my last question I like to ask is, do you think our society and our government does enough to promote tolerance and inclusivity and true acceptance?
No, and I say this because I cannot recall a single class, like a mandated class, on any of the topics that you just said. And that's a shame because that's something that, like I said earlier, like emotion is the base human currency that everyone has, but not everybody learns how to use correctly or how to use or leverage to understand the people around them and show up for them and have themselves shown up for in the way that they need. And so do I think that society or the government has done a great job in these areas in educating people to show up as themselves or to show up compassionately and with acceptance? No. Because that's never been a priority. These topics don't tend to fit in well in rote memorization, and that's what the curriculum that we've been taught really falls down to. So I'm a huge proponent for more expansive, innovative, creative education.
Let's change that. I think you and I are going to change that.
Yeah.
And a huge team.
Yes.
But let's make that happen in our lifetime.
Absolutely.
For sure. So we're gonna touch on something that's really painful right now. First thing is, what would you say about what's just recently happened about the redaction of Roe v. Wade?
I honestly still feel like I'm in disbelief of what happened. I think it's a testament to like the work that I've been doing over the last year that I'm able to show up in this moment as like joyous and connected as I am, because when that ruling came down, it was really, really tough. And like I felt that ruling in my body. I felt that pain and that collective grief for every woman in this city and cities around us and in the country. And disappointed is an understatement. I really struggle to find the words. I've tried to journal about it. I don't think I'm ready yet. But I mourn the verdict. I'm in process of mourning the verdict and what it means for women in this country.
Yeah. We're going to get this fixed. We're going to fix this. The next thing is, usually I would ask, what do you think about the violence that's in our country and, homicide, guns, the obsession with guns, of force, of one-upmanship in terms of force and harm? I don't want to ask you that. I want to ask you what I know you've already considered, and I think you think about what are the roots of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can you kind of speak on the roots of this epidemic of violence that we have in our country?
I've thought about this a lot, actually, and I think one of the roots of it is a steer towards individualism and a steer away from community. I think, I grew up in a suburb, and I didn't really have the opportunity to know my neighbors. And when I look back at my childhood, I felt very isolated, and I also felt like I didn't know the people around me. And that's a symptom of keeping up with the Joneses. That's a symptom of suburban life that happened in this country in the 1900s. And if you look at the roots, if we were a village and we were a community of people who knew each other, and we don't have to like everyone. We don't need to like each other, but we know each other. We would not harm people we knew. The problem is we don't know each other anymore. We don't have the opportunity for small moments of connection you would find in a close-knit community or a village, where my parents and how they describe their childhood is running to neighbors' homes and getting milk and getting eggs. And you may not be the best friend of the neighbor, but they were there for you, and they'd show up for you, and they'd help you when you need it. They'd look after your kids. You'd look after theirs. You'd pick up their mail for them. It doesn't happen anymore. Maybe in some places, but not in highly and densely populated areas. And I think when it comes to the root of violence, it comes in somebody can more easily make an enemy out of someone they don't know than someone they do know. And we don't know each other anymore, so we've made each other enemies.
I want to leave us with your wisdom. I don't want to add anything to that. So now let's give the people watching a chance to understand kind of the aesthetic part of you, the artistry that's in you. So I have 3 questions along those lines. First, do you have anything like a favorite movie?
A favorite movie? That's such a good question. There's a movie that's really nostalgic for me. I think I watched it at a really pivotal time in my life in high school, and I think about it every other day, and it's called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And there's something about that movie that I just love. I go back and I watch it like every year because it brings forth and evokes such beautiful emotions in me that surprise me, and they're different every time. And that's what art is for, right? To allow you to access parts of the subconscious mind that you don't even realize are sitting there waiting to be addressed. And that's what that movie does for me.
That movie was so artistic, so moving. I need to go watch it.
Yeah, I know. It's about that time.
It's been a year or so.
Yeah.
How about your favorite genre of music?
Oh, man. That's so hard to choose. I'll give you what I've been listening to lately. Ambient music, actually. And I think that this is a part of my journey to not overstimulate my mind. And so I've been pulling away words and also walking in silence. But when I walk with sound, it's Sigur Rós, which is an Icelandic band that I saw live here a couple weeks ago. A seated concert, this man standing with the voice of an angel in a language that he made up. Just the most like ethereal, gorgeous sounds. And it felt like as I was watching that show that I was listening to the full spectrum of human emotion right in front of me. And that's the music that's calling to me these days. It's like, it's alive. It's packed with feeling. It's packed with punch. So ambient music and live jazz.
Let's go.
Those two, that's my genre right now.
Sweet. And the last one is there a book that's impacted you?
Of course. I would say a book that I would recommend for anyone younger and maybe in their 20s that might be watching this is called The Defining Decade. And have you heard of it? I think back to that book often, and because it covers multiple topics. It covers finance, it covers fertility, it covers anxieties around career and love. And I didn't read it recently, but it was a book that I am so freaking glad that I read. And I really do wish it was a part of some college curriculum somewhere, that everyone needs to pick up that book and read that when they're about to be in their 20s or they're in their 20s.
I might need to read that.
Yeah.
I've gotten the recommendation from a lot of people lately.
Yeah.
With that, that's all that I had to ask you. I like to reflect at the end of an interview.
Yeah.
And just let you know and let our audience know what was being felt in this time that we had together.
Yeah.
This was really profound for me. I'm gonna, that was great too.
I hope they saw that.
This was profound in a healing way. Like I actually felt like I was breathing easier within the first 10 minutes of speaking with you. And I felt accepted because of the level of like acceptance that I felt you were directing towards everything, including yourself. So I just was like, literally, I wasn't very uptight today, but whatever was there that was causing that tension, I just felt it release. I just was like, because I think I'd have to say the reason I felt that way is because, well, when you pair, like you said, self-examination,
Yes.
like so clarity and insight, that lends itself towards wisdom. But when you do that and you lean into it for long enough, then you have basically like continuity, but you're convicted.
Yes.
And so I just hear an effortless, where you said sometimes you feel like you got to get something and make it effortful, but you're focusing on letting things come effortless.
Yes.
I feel that effortless conviction in you where you're calling in what matters in your life. And it really does touch me that you're calling in connection and you're calling in healing, and that you feel that you want to share that with people. And I'm even more excited that I really believe in your ability to do so.
Thank you.
I'm really excited what this next bit of your journey has.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me and for sharing with them. This was really special.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I just think it's amazing that this happened, because this is exactly what my life has become now. It's moments like this every day that I'm not looking for that I find. And right here, right now, you talking to me is a confirmation that I'm on the right track in every element of the journey that I've been working so hard on. So thank you for the time, and thank you for seeing me on the ledge and thinking that it'd be a good conversation.
It was amazing. Hug?
Yes, of course.
Oh. Thank you. Signing out. Wow.
Same sun, same stars, same world, same sky, same war, same blood, same tears, same lies, same pride, same strife, same struggle, same glory. One people, one life, our chance, our story.